Hi, everyone. My name is Barbie Romero. I'm a director at Media Post for event programming, and it is my pleasure to welcome our panelists. We're going to talk about the unpredictable media landscape with rising consumer expectations and inflation going on, possible recession, hopefully not. Our panelists will address how they're navigating these challenges, and we're going to get started. I'm going to sit down. All right, so we have Suzanne, VP of Integrated Marketing Creative at Jackson Hewitt, Tim Glover, SVP Investments, Media Partnerships and Power, Lisa Matheson, Head of Brand Activation at Hostess Brands. So if each of you can tell me what your role entails, Suzanne, I'll start with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Media Post, for having us, and thank you, Barbie, for inviting us to this panel. My role is interesting. As a VP of Integrated Marketing and Creative, I sort of oversee the brand overall. So anything from what stands under the brand: marketing, advertising, customer relationship marketing, personas. So anything that is Jackson Hewitt as a brand is what I oversee in every deliverable, including our big TV shoot, which is coming up in 2.5 weeks in New York. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Tim Glover. As Barbie said, SVP of Investment at Empower. We have this thing that we say at Empower: the only constant in our business is change. I think we all live that every single day. So my role has evolved a lot over the 2 decades almost that I've been there. But right now, I'm responsible for overseeing and leading our direct partnerships team, which is all of our TV, video, digital direct, print, and out of home. So making sure that we're bringing the best products to our clients.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Matheson. It's good to see you all again, or many of you at least, from some of the other events. I lead advertising and digital marketing at Hostess Brands, and so I oversee all of our creative strategy, our media planning and buying, and our social and owned channel strategy.
Great, thank you. So Suzanne, I know in our previous conversation you mentioned about targeting early filers as well as late filers. Can you talk about how you reach them and any new platforms that you're looking into?
Absolutely. So the one thing I'm going to start with is nobody likes taxes. It's the most unfun thing. So when I say the word taxes, everyone's like, oh, but my goal as sort of the head of marketing and creative is to make it fun and make it engaging, because it is that sort of necessary evil we all have to do, and nobody is very happy about it, as opposed to your brands, which everyone probably has more brand affinity.
Who doesn't love Twinkies? Come on.
Right. Everybody likes Twinkies. Nobody likes taxes. So, one of the ways that we treat our customers are very different. At the beginning of the season, they come in. They are most excited. They're early filers. They do. We have something called Early Refund Advance and Refund Advance, where you can get either $1,000 on a credit card or deposit into your account, $3,500 before January 1st. These are people who are paycheck to paycheck. They make up to $55,000, 2 to 3 jobs, mostly single parents. Those are early filers, and we have our regular filers who come in and they're like, maybe I get a refund, and then the late ones who are like, no, I definitely am going to owe, or something's happened. They are all very different targets. So we treat them differently. We have different funnels for each of them. We do a lot of video. We're doing TV. We do digital streams, and how we reach them, because they are so different in their economic, from 55 to like 100. We have to go into different outlets to do that.
Okay, great. So Suzanne, I know you mentioned a different way to segment. So you have millennials and Gen Z. Can you talk about your target market, and also if you're looking into new platforms? Because I know, there's always new platforms of the younger generation. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's Suzanne. Lisa, sorry.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I really enjoyed the McCormick presentation. I don't know if she's still here, but it was wonderful. There you are. Yes, that was wonderful. We have a lot of similarities because Hostess Brands is over 100 years old as well, and so it's a very well-known brand. Our unaided awareness is high. People do know our sub-brands of Twinkies and cupcakes and donuts, but we also don't necessarily have the relevancy with the younger generation as we do with the older generations. And so, we're really focused on really establishing that relevancy, trying to stay top of mind with those younger generations. So we are focused on, millennial parents, Gen Z audiences, really bringing in that new chapter of consumers and passionate consumers for our products. And so we're really focused, and we leverage a lot of data when it comes to our video targeting. Many of you may not know that Hostess Brands went through a bankruptcy period about 10 years ago and was, very quickly saved and is now a vibrant and healthy publicly traded company. But we haven't advertised in a really long time. And so we are just starting our advertising journey. And so, to really have consumers see our brand and intercept them, which we haven't done in so long, I think we're really hoping to establish that emotional connection to a whole host of consumers.
So I know that you went 100% digital. Are you seeing ROI on that?
Yep.
What made you not go into linear directly? Some brand, as I guess a legacy brand, if you want to call yourselves, how is that working out?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, when I came in, I really saw, and we all saw as a company, it was really a fresh slate. We weren't weighed down by sort of the baggage of traditional media that many companies who have been around for a long time, are. They're very reliant on marketing mix models or MTAs, and it's driving a lot of their media choices year over year. And so, companies, many CPG companies in particular, tend to build, TV first. And, our budgets just haven't been there. And we had a great opportunity to kind of start with a clean slate. And so, I think we've all probably been in those planning exercises, was like, well, what if we didn't do TV? Where would we start? Well, we were there. We had no problem with that exercise. And that's how we began, because we wanted to be able to stay agile. We wanted to learn, test and learn very quickly, and digital is a fantastic way to do that. And so we love our digital-first approach. It's enabled just that, complete agility, very rapid learning, and so we're constantly making, different choices from, month to month, quarter to quarter. And our ROIs are very much, strong and healthy and trending upward. And so we've had what I would say a very rapid incline of our, ROI because of our ability to optimize so fast.
That's great. So you can pivot very fastly. Any trends you see on, I guess, social media, you could just pivot right away.
That's right. We stay very, very flexible. So if we see that we actually optimize across our channel mix, so not within the chosen channels. So, if we see that social video is outperforming, OTT, we'll make some shifts. If we see that certain targeting is starting to really rise to the top, we'll make that change in that platform, but we'll monitor, targeting in the other channels or platforms, because not all targeting is equal within each channel. So we are really, kind of playing with the dials at all levels all the time, and it really enables us to see success very fast.
Great. So Tim, you have many clients. Where are you investing your video dollars?
Yeah, we do. Very diverse portfolio of brands, from CPG to retail to service and so on. From a video perspective, we still see the lion's share of the dollars still falling in the linear space, but we're seeing and educating and coaching our clients to see and value OTT and CTV and what that can bring to the plan. And over the last 18 months, we've been working as an agency, like many of the agencies that are out there, to evolve to one video team, and it's helping us to be able to really look at the budgets singularly as they come down, and not say, okay, this is the linear budget and this is the CTV budget, and gives us that agility. So, and I would also say that flexibility is key. Hearing you say that, I mean, it's critical across all of our clients. We're seeing more that want that flexibility to be able to pivot and not secure so many dollars and lock them in from the start.
Your clients that are investing in OTT, how are customers reacting to like QR codes or URLs in the ads? Are you seeing any ROI on that?
We've had a couple of clients that have gotten into the QR codes, but ultimately it's about making sure that your ads are relevant for your audiences, making sure that they do have some type of call to action. I think QR codes, they were around for a while, they went away, and then they came back really strong. And whether they're going to be used as they are into the future, we'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, really making sure that the ads have some type of an action to them.
Great. So if each of you can tell me if you're trying to to retain old customers or make new ones. So Suzanne, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we found our industry is that taxes were down 6% overall, and that's industry-wide. So our biggest thing, of course, is acquisition of new customers, but we're also looking at increased year after year retention. And I think one of the biggest things is just how you reach them and how you pivot. I mean, pivot's the big word, right? How do you go in and get new customers? How do you steal, and how do you beg, borrow, and steal new customers? So we have a huge acquisition play this year, and our omni-channel strategy is really going to reflect it. What we did last year that we found really successful, surprisingly, was radio. We went out with big TV. We were #1 in radio first quarter of last year, which at one point we were like, should we make a TV spot out of our radio ads? And that's sort of part of the pivot. We didn't. We almost did. We were like that close. But so this year we know that what we have to do, and we have a very short season. We have January 1 to April 18th, where we have the appointment utilization. So we really have to crunch it in. And when you have to pivot and optimize that quickly for 4 months, it is aggressive. It is nonstop. So.
Thanks. Tim?
I'm sorry, can you ask a question?
Oh, sorry. So if you're a client, I guess you have a lot of clients though, so I guess your top clients, if you are trying to retain old customers or gain new ones.
Yes. Well, I think everyone would agree it's easier and cheaper to maintain current clients than get new clients, but we also know that it's critical to get new customers, I should say, clients too, but new customers to continue to grow. So yes, it depends on the clients for the most part. I would say our CPG clients are really focused on broadening out their product lines. If they've got a star product, they're going to expand from there, and that really helps to grow current customers. But yeah, I mean, it's important to get both.
Yeah, and I think for Hostess brands, we're still assessing, the investment splits across, really our older consumers versus sort of the younger generation. I think it's really important that you not abandon your core consumers altogether, especially in CPG and especially in snacking. There are so many snacking brands. Snacking, was one of the categories that thrived during the pandemic. Not, all CPG brands saw that, but snacking did. They wanted those sort of comfort foods. They wanted, consumers were really sort of, just changing their eating habits altogether. And so, for us, I think we're still really trying to kind of identify, what's the right level of support. And again, I kind of go back to McCormick today, really inspired by, this idea of, talking to your, core consumers differently and engaging with them differently than, your growth consumers. I mean, certainly we rely heavily on our consumer journey maps. We really do want to understand how our different consumer segments are navigating, media and marketing messages. How are they navigating, devices and, video channels, given that it's all so fragmented, and how do we intercept them in the best, most relevant way possible? And so we're still exploring that. So I think we'll probably be another, year or 2 years out before we really start to figure out, what's that optimal level of investment. But today we really, we don't want to abandon our core consumers at all. They're still vital to our business. And, I think it's more, for us, it's more about sort of that full, life cycle of the consumer journey. So from young to old. So we look at it all.
So I want to ask this because McCormick did this. For Hostess, do you use influencers, UGC content, any contests I don't know if people do any weird recipes online with their products, but
People definitely do a lot of weird things with some Twinkies and cupcakes. We are inspired every day. Yeah, it's interesting because I think there are some of those elements of our iconic heritage that we don't necessarily want to latch on to because it's a little too nostalgic. It kind of weighs us down a little bit. But there are other elements where it does lift us up to being, a really relevant contemporary brand. What I'm so proud of at Hostess Brands is we continue to innovate. In fact, our new campaign for Bouncers, I should have brought some. I say that every time I come to a Media Post event of like, oh, I should have brought some snacks. Our new Bouncers campaign just launched today. So, we are really innovating on our products and coming out with new snacks all the time. And so we're not just Twinkies and cupcakes and donuts anymore. We have Bouncers, and we have another product coming out next year that I can't give away. But I think it's going to really, really break open the mold a little bit of snacking. So, these are the things that we want to talk about and want to engage our consumers in. And yes, we use, content as a way to do that. We use and believe in sight, sound, motion, AKA video, to help us, retain that emotional connection. The one powerful thing about Hostess Brands is that we have such a powerful connection with our consumers. And we want to maintain that, and we want to build that up with newer generations. And so we're using content as an asset for us to do that. Consumers love it when we show our products, right? It's very appealing. Appetite appeal is huge. And we know that, and we leverage that in all of the content that we create. So influencers, social, video, digital, retail media, all of it is in our toolbox, and we use it in I think, really powerful ways.
yeah, content is king, like the old saying says. So if you can each say what your biggest lesson learned from the last 6 months has been. So Suzanne, if you want, we'll start with you.
I think one of the most interesting things that I found is that humor, which, is often, if you guys have seen all the Super Bowl commercials with our competitors, humor is kind of a big thing right now. And what we've been doing is really leveraging through integrations through influencers. We've been leveraging quite a bit to get the humor and the humanity, and that's how you connect that, create a bigger connection and retain it. So that's what we've been leveraging, and seeing forward the campaign that we're about to shoot in 2.5 weeks is, in my mind, pretty hilarious and groundbreaking for our industry.
So I'm curious, so with humor, how much control do you give the influencers? Do you just see the creative before they post it, or?
Absolutely.
How much? I was going to say, how much can they get away with? Okay, good.
No, it's one of those things. It's a fine line when you get influencers to do stuff. And we also, and I spoke about this in Austin and earlier this year, is I integrated with Maury Povich and Steve Wilkos last year. We did an NBCU integration, which was hilarious, and it really hit our target audience in the way that I thought it should. Our influencers are a little bit more tame, and they, but they really get the point across, and they speak to their audience, whether they're moms, their dads, their kids, their, what kind of influencer they are. But obviously, we need final approval.
Okay, great. So Tim.
So I would say, one of my most exciting things about this industry is that we get to navigate it together, and things continually change. I think probably within the last 6 months, but more than that even, is when you talk about advanced audiences and being able to activate on them. So, the digital world, we've been able to do that forever. The linear space, not so much. And we're getting now to where we're having the conversations to where, our account teams and planning teams, they've always developed great strategic audiences, personas, names, this is who this looks like or whatever. And then it would get to activation, and we'd buy women 25-54, adults 18 plus, right? So we're finally getting to that point to where all of that work that's happening on the front end, we're able to take those audiences and activate on those audiences. So that's probably what I'm most excited about, at least at this moment, and really what we've seen in the last 6, 12, 18 months evolve.
Thank you.
And I think for Hostess, we've really been focused on data and targeting, and I think this is a really big differentiator between TV and any kind of digital video, whether it be streaming, OTT, VOD, et cetera. Data is such a powerful mechanism when it comes to digital video, and there's just a huge learning opportunity there. So we're constantly testing, different data segments, whether it be, adjacent categories, narrow categories, broader snacking categories. We're always looking at that information, and so data has just been a really powerful tool for us when we are optimizing our video mix.
Great, thank you. So now we have some time for questions. Is anyone? Lisa has the mic.
Well, I actually, if I can wait, I need to, I'm not in front of that. I was told I was giving a silhouette of myself when I stood in front of the thing. So I actually want to know, in terms of, you were saying how partnerships, okay, as far as I think to get taxes to be a little bit more interesting, maybe you give a Twinkie with every time you have
Twinkies and taxes.
yeah, so there's a partnership. So the reason I'm actually, but is as partnerships, and I know with Suzanne, I can even start with you, with Walmart, you guys have been in there. And talk about that. Is that something that also is coming into play for the mix, aside from all these different channels that you're testing?
Absolutely. So we do partner up with Walmart. Traditionally, we've had 1,200 stores, and what we do is that literally obviously the cross partnership aligns so closely with our brand. If you think of our early filer target audience, and the first thing they do is they take the $1,000 or the $3,500 and they go buy tires or a TV or food, or Christmas presents. So we traditionally have done 1,200. No, it was 1,000 on December 26th. This year we're actually doing 2,200, and we're starting 2 weeks earlier on December 12th. And we're also, we've worked closely with them to partner up to make sure we have more visibility in store. I think the partnership with that, with the thought that we align that every dollar matters, Walmart does and Jackson Hewitt does, so we've increased that partnership significantly this year, and it is one of our biggest partnerships, and to us it makes sense, and to Walmart it does as well, so we're excited about that.
You guys, either of you, is that a plan for Hostess moving down, or?
Partnerships, not yet. We would love to do, partnerships at some point. We think there's just a lot of opportunity in that space. We tend to explore some of this through our licensing. So I also run licensing as part of my responsibilities. And so it gives us a little bit of that freedom and low risk to test, where are there, categories within, apparel, for example, that we could maybe start to bring our brand to life through, and that might, open up the doors for partnerships in the future. Right now, we are very focused on, just getting our media mix right, really understanding our consumers, how they're responding to our messages, where's the best place to intercept them.
My lens on partnerships are slightly different than these two, of course, but many of our partners are in the room even here today, but they are the lifeblood of our business. We have to have partners critical to our business.
Well, I want to ask, does anyone else want to jump in? But it kind of occurred to me, because you also referred to what Jill was saying in terms of, and you guys are all talking about testing, and Jill had said, okay, we start small and then move from there. So especially to you, Lisa, where you're predominantly, you're staying digital first. Is this a testing ground, as you're testing all these channels, to then expand to linear and bring it out there to have then it all connect together?
Yeah, we're not anti-TV by any stretch. I envision that we will get there eventually. Right now, our dollars go further with a digital-first approach at the moment. So I think once we start to continue to scale our investment over time, we will incorporate linear as a part of that mix. Right now, it's, I think my philosophy on test and learn is that it's constant. You don't just need to test and learn at the beginning of your advertising journey or, in the middle, or when you start to do something new. You should be testing and learning all the time, because I think, as in the opening remarks, that chart was powerful. It is so fragmented. There are so many ways in. Consumers are inundated with, touch points and messaging, and it's just a lot. So how do you find the most optimal way to stay in front of your consumers that doesn't annoy them, but also brings them, or at least in our case, brings them some joy. So that's what we're really focused on. So yeah, I fully envision that we'll bring in linear in the next 2 to 3 years probably.
Great. All right, well, everyone, give our panel a hand. This is awesome. Thank you very much. Barbie, you were great. Suzanne, Tim, and Lisa, we appreciate it.